Hello, sexy little people. Sup?
Why are they
Welcome.
little?
I don't know. Just assumptions were being made. Welcome to Quarter Up, the gaming news and debate show brought to you by QueueTimes.com here on twitch.tv/QueueTimes and on iTunes and on Stitcher and on Google Play and on all the other fucking things in the world. It's really hard to fucking keep all of them up to date at the same time, but that doesn't matter. That's just a personal Krug problem. We're here to talk to you about gaming news and stuff. But first, before we get into that, we're going to do the thing we do every single week, and that's go over how our weeks were. Indigo Buddy, how was your week?
My week was good. I just actually got finished this morning recording our first episode of Pyros and Pacifists, which is our Pathfinder D&D game. So that was a lot of fun. I love trolling my players, so that was definitely something I did. Are we
solid enough on a release date to talk about the release date?
Yeah, go for it.
It's going to be every single without fail Friday. Every single Friday. Yep. Is that right?
Yeah.
No pressure?
It just became so real.
But yeah, look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be just a podcast. It used to be a show called Player's Handbook. The name changed and the format changed. It's no longer going to be a live stream video thing. It's going to be more of an audio podcast thing. Mm-hmm. But you can still find it on QueueTimes.com. You're still going to be able to find it the same exact places you find Quarter Up, the same exact places you find Slash Yell. So that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. Was that the end? Do you have anything else?
I also was forced to play outside yesterday.
Me too.
Which made me sore and hurtful. So, I mean, there was that.
So... my week was pretty much the same as Indigo's because we were friends in real life. And
you recorded players pyro.
Wow, having a stroke. I don't even know what this question's going to be when you manage to find the English to get it out.
You recorded Pyros and Pacifists as well this week?
No. I was in Discord while you were recording it most of the time, by the way, so I heard most of it. But I also went to the same outdoor event that Indigo did. And we were walking from our cars to the place we were having the picnic thing, and my legs started burning. It was literally like a 200-yard walk, and I was just like, ugh. And then it goes like, you're a bitch, aren't you? Like, you're actually a huge bitch. It's like, yeah, I know. And then I got a lesson in what shoes I wear. So
yes,
I'm going to go out
wearing
and buy
dress shoes while hanging out at the park playing. What was the little game? Birdie? What was that? No, that's the name of the...
Badminton.
Badminton, yeah.
The game's called Birdie. Hit the badminton over to me while we play Birdie.
Yeah, playing badminton in dress shoes, probably not the best thing for you.
I did smoke you, though, so there's that.
No, we won.
No, you won the second game, and that was because my legs were on fire.
No. I won the second time because my player that was on my team didn't scream, I fucking hate this game, every 30 seconds. So that's probably where that came from.
Anyways,
but, yeah.
Speaking of little babies screaming that they hate this game, this first piece of news is fucking hilarious. So, for those of you that don't know, Overwatch is a game that a lot of people play, and it's really fun. There's some people that play Overwatch that are better than other people that play Overwatch. This specific person that we're about to talk about, who goes by, what does she go by? It starts with a G. Where is it? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Gerugi? Geguri. Don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. So I'm going to just call them Smoky-tastic Machine of Death for short, I guess that makes sense. They are the best Overwatch player. Like, objectively, using math, the best Overwatch player.
They have a...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, they have an 80% win rate as well as a 6.31 kill death ratio.
Which is really fucking good, right?
Yeah.
They made Zarya.
I was just say as Zarya. That's the other kicker.
Zarya is really, really powerful, but in my personal opinion, has a really high skill ceiling because her left click is just so hard to consistently, like, land. It's such a tiny projectile, and, like, if you're even a centimeter off of a hitbox, like, no damage. And it, like, there's been some discussions about making it easier to hit with it, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Zarya player who's OP as balls. There are two MLG Overwatch players, ELTA and Strobe from the team Dizziness, who are very vocal about her performance and basically called her out for cheating.
Yep.
And so Blizzard was like, oh, okay, are you concerned about that? We'll look into that for you. And they looked into it, and they straight up came out and said, nope, we checked. We specifically targeted this one person check to see if they were cheating. They're not. They're just way better than you. Go suck a dick. As these two players were like, bad mouthing this amazing Zarya player, they had said that if it comes out that she's not cheating, they would leave Overwatch. And so they did. They left their team.
Well, here's the other thing,
which is hilarious.
Some of the people that were like talking about this situation is they were like threatening her life. They're saying like they're saying, by her cheating and doing all of this, it's ruining the esports arena. I'm gonna take a knife to her house, and like hell, even Philip DeFranco fucking talked about this. Like he was like, not only I believe he said, oh, maybe they were just kidding. It is online. He goes, and then the very next line, he goes, I'm not joking. So he was saying that if she got caught cheating, he was going to kill her. And then other people were like, oh, I'll quit if she's not cheating. And fucking good on them, because they did in fact quit.
Yeah. So. OP delivers finally. And like, honestly, like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Like, for reals. Super not sad to see you go. You're such a bitch. Like, that's all I have to say to these people is if you really can't take one person being astoundingly better than you, like, look at it from a simpleton's perspective. If Indigo rage quit every time I beat him in a game of Overwatch, every time my score soared past his miles in an unreachable fashion, he would never play Overwatch. Oh, we had awkward. Anyways, fucking little babies don't deserve anything.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we don't know if it was soaring above their score. It was just more the fact that they were pissed off that someone was better than them. But here's the thing:
But how could you be that pissed off if you were close? You know what I mean? Like, if you're close, you just. That's sad.
That legitimately, that is the only thing that makes sense to me. That if someone was better than you and was a girl,
I see
that's the only defining difference.
I see it. I definitely know that those people exist, especially in this culture, like the gaming culture. It still baffles me. Like, I have to look for another reason, and because I cannot bring myself to just be like, yep, that's the reason. Even though all evidence points towards that, I cannot do it. So not only did Blizzard clear her of all wrongdoing, but she straight up went in front of like an audience and just sat in a bunch of games of Overwatch, recorded them for people as she just smokes. Like, so it's on, you can see the video if you look in our show notes. She tears it up. It's gross. Like, and you see like the way she moves her mouse, because it's the shots from behind her, so you can see her keyboard and her mouse as it's like wiggling, and she's flicking around and shooting. Like, Farah's up in the air with the Zarya right click. And
what
I'm like,
that shit?
The fuck is wrong with you? How do you do that shit? I don't even think you could easily write a cheat program that could do that for you. That's hard as balls. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But, I'm happy that she got a little bit of fame out of it, at the very least. Like, silver lining to every cloud, right? She's obviously going to be sought after by esports teams, right? Like, she's going to be a commodity, at least for a little while. But the fact that she had to endure death threats for that kind of thing, the fact that she had to endure like this sexist debate that's like centered around her, is really depressing.
Do you know, I did notice one thing she does that I don't do.
What? Use the E?
No. Yeah. No, jump constantly.
Oh yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That's what a lot of Genji players I watch too do. They jump incessantly, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense because you're super mobile. Why would you not just take advantage of that all the time? But I've never seen a Zarya do it.
I guess because it's moving your character around, so it's harder for headshots. It's harder. Like, sure. I guess theoretically, the more you move around, the just overall better. And since her abilities, I don't know. Anyways, I must try it in between shows. I'm gonna just jump the whole game.
It also seemed like, I don't know, maybe this was just me, but it seemed like people in games were like afraid of her somehow. You know what I mean? Like, so there's one part where she ulted and she got a clump of people together, and one of them was a Reinhardt who had his shield up, and she just like casually strafed around to behind the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt didn't turn. He was still facing the direction he originally faced, and just killed them all. Yep. And like, I was like, why didn't you turn? Like, do you think, I don't understand what, there was nobody else. Like, it was just her, and you could have just turned and you would have been totally fine. I don't know. Maybe she was in stealth mode. Hacks. I'm joking, by the way. That was a joke.
I'm aware of this.
I'm just making sure everybody else is aware.
She's cheating.
No. We're fucked.
Sorry. Anyways.
More Overwatch news time. We tried to clump in all the Overwatch news at the very beginning of the show so that we aren't constantly breaking off of topics to talk about Overwatch like we normally do, because there's so much fucking Overwatch news. So, Overwatch has introduced a PTR to the Western realms, which is super awesome. The PTR has been a thing in Korea for a while now. Not a while, but, a month or a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can actually use the PTR if you're on the Western end of the world. It's really easy to get involved. It's just a separate realm. So instead of being in North America or whatever realm you play in, you just select PTR Overwatch from the realm list, and then you'll have an install button instead of a play button. Hit the install button, it'll install the PTR, and then you hit play and you're good, which is super cool. The PTR notes, though, are the super interesting part. Did you read through these?
No, I haven't had a chance to.
Oh, really? All right, let's go over them. So the competitive mode updates are really cool. Quitting early or going AFK will leave you ineligible to join another game until your previous game has ended, which is cool, right? Like, they do that in Smite already, don't they? Don't they?
No,
in Smite, if you leave a game and come back in, it rejoins you into that game.
That's if you get disconnected.
Right.
If you get disconnected, you will go back into the game that you were previously in.
But that's the only way you can leave, isn't it?
No, you can like exit the game. Like, you can like flat out quit the game. I think it recognizes when it's a network error versus an actual like game error, because I haven't. Have I? I think I've quit the game because I was having issues.
Right.
And then
I've definitely seen you do that before. Like, my ping is 600. I need to leave, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've left and then I've come back and then waited for you guys. But I also, if you leave and don't come back, you will get a penalty against you.
Right. And that is actually also a thing here. If you leave a bunch, and they don't give specific numbers, I'm not sure it's the same. Because the penalty for non-competitive play is at the 20% threshold. So if within your last 20 matches you've left 20% of them, you get the negative mark on your account, and you lose, 75% of your XP?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Completely okay with that.
Yeah, right. But they didn't specifically say for the competitive scene if that's going to be the same threshold, if there's going to be a different threshold.
I hope it's a smaller threshold.
Yeah, like 2 games total out of the last 20.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a huge difference, because you've got people that are trying to rank up during that versus normal play. It's like, oh, well, you lose someone, you gain someone else in there, no big deal. But
I mean, it is kind of a big deal, but it's still a big deal as far as which direction the game goes. Like, one person leaving has huge consequences on the game, even if they get replaced literally immediately, because the new player still has to load, still has to pick a character, still has to find the fights, all that stuff. So there is a huge period of time where you're down a person, basically. So maybe like one game. Maybe they're allowed to leave one game in competitive. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There was one other thing I want to talk about. If you leave a certain number of games, you might just get removed from competitive play altogether. And that might be for a season. It might be this account can no longer competitive play, but that's how far they're willing to take that punishment.
Okay.
Which is super cool, I think.
Okay.
Not down? You don't look like you're down.
No. I'm down. Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Okay. So don't fuck around in Overwatch competitive mode, assholes.
Yeah, right.
Even if you get me on your team and I'm just feeding like crazy, charging enemies ults for no reason. There's more patch notes. They're listed in the show notes if you want to check them out. It includes fun stuff like the golden guns, which we've already talked about, and all that other jazz. So check it out. Oop.
Yeah, is that so?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll take on to the next piece of news, which I think is hilarious, and I super hope it doesn't backfire in their face.
It will.
So, Mighty Number 9 came out last week, I want to say, and it has not been a smooth release. It's had its own problems in itself, delays. It's a lot. So it came out and it didn't have, like I said, the best review. So Sonic decided to come out and take pot shots at Mighty Number 9 by tweeting out what did he tweet out? I gotta click on the link now.
It says, "Congrats on the launch at Mighty Number 9. It's better than nothing." And then there's an image of Sonic like shrugging, like, "Oh well."
Yeah.
Oh man. When I read this, I just heard the Sonic noise that plays when you die, like way back when, the original Sonic. Oh man, so funny.
So
Cold-blooded though, for like serious. I've never seen like PR bitch slapping. I haven't seen PR bitch slapping like this in a long time.
Okay, well, Sonic the Hedgehog, like the official Sonic the Hedgehog, they are known to do shit like this. They've done it in the past.
Really?
Yeah. We've even reported on it. Like they've done shit like this before, and they're usually really quick to get back to people. I do like someone's response, which is a picture of Sonic inside of a glass house, and it says Sonic and the glass house.
Yeah, it's adorable. So it's like a Nintendo 3DS game box for the game Sonic and the Glass House.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, that means that Sonic shouldn't talk because it's done something like that as well. And so it's basically hurting itself.
Yep. Those who live in glass houses shall not throw stones, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So after confirming an entry of the Sonic the Hedgehog series, it was in development earlier this week. We actually finally got a title for it, which is Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. So they're coming out with this game, and they better come out with a fucking great game.
Yep.
Or they're going to be eating their words, because this is the problem. You don't have a game that's coming out soon and then trash on someone else. And I get that there is kind of like this like back and forth, because it's kind of similar cartoony feel. And I know that there's some like developer background stuff way back, because Mighty Number 9 is basically from the developers of Mega Man. And anyways, there's a whole bunch of like background stuff that's involved there that I'm not going to get into, but
that's not the point. The point is that you have an audience, and the audience is going to look at your shit talking and be like, "Oh, you think this is wildly unacceptable, don't you? Okay, duly noted." And then when they come out, if they do something even remotely relatable to this, not only is Mighty Number 9 going to come back and be like, "Remember that one time you guys said that we had a shitty release? Look at yours, lol, yours is way worse." Even if it's not way worse, they're going to say it's way worse, and nobody's going to remember what the Mighty Number 9 release was like, because it was a while ago, and it's just going to be way worse. Like, that's going to be what the history books say. And their audience is going to make fun of them endlessly for, one, having a shitty release, and two, having a shitty release after talking about somebody else having a shitty release. It's just going to bite them so hard. And I really don't have any, like, personal connection to the Sonic franchise or the Mega Man franchise or Mighty Number 9 or anything. Don't care about any of those franchises. So I really hope it fails miserably. Like, I want to see, like, the comedy is of the utmost value.
There hasn't been a good Sonic the Hedgehog game in a very, very, very long time.
Right. It's one of those franchises that rests on its laurels. Like, look, we have the Sonic. He's super blue. Come play our game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So hopefully, I mean, I hope it doesn't blow up in their face, but it's super going to, right? Like, we can agree on that.
I mean, it's going to be hard for it not to, but I cannot agree with you as far as hoping it doesn't happen. I want it to blow up in their face. Like, they deserve it.
All right.
Super hard. And I'll be the first to say, if they have a smooth release, okay, fine. You guys deserve a smooth release if you pull it off, and nobody's going to make fun of you, whatever. Fine. Be that way. Don't give me my funny lulls.
All right, so then we've got the next piece of news, which it's funny because it goes around what we were arguing about last week.
It does. So last week we were discussing exclusivity in gaming titles, and it was specifically because of certain behaviors that Oculus had as far as paying developers to produce exclusively for their platform, but then it was discovered that the developer didn't say the right thing. They meant to say it was like a limited exclusive, not a full-blown, like, this will never release on other platforms. So there was kind of like a back and forth there, and we discussed whether or not exclusives were good for the gaming industry or not. Oculus, this week, in their June update for their product, decided to remove what's called the Platform Integrity Check, which is essentially DRM that checks to make sure that Oculus software that was purchased on the Oculus Store is running on an Oculus device. So that DRM's gone now. So theoretically, you can get something from the Oculus Store and play it on a Vive.
Yeah, and they're saying, and if you read further in the article, what they're saying is that they're not going to be using hardware to determine DRM. So they're not
Right.
saying that they're going to get rid of DRM, and they're not going to
Sure.
get, yeah. So what they're saying is they're just not going to be using this form
Right.
to have
They
to
didn't
use DRM.
specifically say, though, what they were going to do with their DRM. Like, we can all obviously assume that they're going to have DRM in place that protects people from redistributing their game, right? Like, that's super common industry standard stuff. But how far are they going to go with other devices? Like, yeah, they may not use like the device hardware to determine whether or not this game can run on a Vive, but are they going to use some other metric to determine whether or not it can run on a Vive? Like, or are they going to leave that open? That's the question, because they didn't specifically address that. They just said, we're not going to put hardware detection back in. DRM and developer IPs and maintaining that IP is important to us. That's what they said. So we don't really have specific details on whether or not this is going to like blossom as an open ecosystem, or whether this is just the first step in closing it down a different way. And I'm kind of leaning towards the second, because they didn't release this information at first. This information came from a third-party developer who develops a piece of software called Revive, which is it's kind of a workaround that allows you to play Rift exclusive titles on other VR platforms. So he like made an update and was working on his hack, and just kind of noticed that they had removed it and was like, where the fuck did this go? And on his GitHub, which is where he publishes his software, his last update says like, I couldn't believe it. Like, this is ridiculous. And so I did all these blah, blah, blah things. Like, it caught him completely off guard. And Oculus didn't say a thing until they replied to other people going, hey, did you do this? Like, why did you do this? His exact words were, I've only just tested this and I'm still in disbelief, but it looks like Oculus removed the headset check from the DRM in the Oculus Runtime 1.5, which is the latest update that happened in June. As of such, I've reverted to, okay, now this is just a bunch of technical garbage that nobody cares about. But it was surprising to him. That makes me think that they're going to, the fact that they didn't publicize this and go, look how cool we are, we're becoming more open, makes me feel like they're going to make the same restrictions.
But in a different way.
In a different way, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's there's no doubt in my mind that that's what they're doing, especially because they're saying it's still important to us to protect,
right. But see,
things.
even then, that's not 100%, because it could just be them saying it's important for us to protect developers from pirating. But buying a game legitimately and running it on a different platform isn't necessarily pirating, depending on how the platforms are supposed to interact with the software.
Correct. Yeah, I still think that.
Confusing, man.
But this is the thing: is that why would they even put that in there as a whole if they weren't going to make specific? You know what I mean? Like, if they weren't going to make specifically for different headsets, why would they even put, oh, it's still important to us for DRM? Because the DRM checks are still there. The pirating checks are still there. It's just not making it so that headset specific.
Well, here's my counter question.
That's like saying, hey, Disneyland is all about safety and really cares about safety. So what we've done is we've reduced ticket prices.
So here's my counter to that. Why would they remove this check before implementing the new thing? Why would they keep a period of time where they have a version of
They may not have it. They may be getting
why would they
may be getting
now?
a lot of flack about it, and the system that they have is so easily walk aroundable that it's easier to just get rid of it and not have it there in the first place, because it could be affecting future, updates or things that they're working on. So just get rid of it, let people do whatever the fuck they want for now, and then come in there with a full-on system.
I don't buy it.
So, it makes more sense to me than like, oh, well, we're just not going to use this as publicity. Like, this is a fucking company that is all about selling their product. This is Facebook, remember?
Yeah,
Facebook updates like, we've added 20-second videos to our pages now. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, they would be using this as a means of advertisement if they could.
I get you. I'm on board. All right, well, GG. I can't wait to hear more about this.
Yeah, I mean, and as we get more information, we'll come back and bring it to you guys. Yep. But as of right now, this is all we have, so we'll figure it out.
Indeedly do we will, buddy. Skyrim, something that I never expected for us to talk about again on this show.
Well, until the next Skyrim game comes out.
Right. Yeah. The next Elder Scrolls game comes out.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls.
Probably won't have Skyrim in the title. Well, except for obviously it does because we're talking about Skyrim again. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim is getting a special edition, which is essentially going to be a version of the game with a updated graphics like engine and feel and support for mods on consoles. Those are the details we have about it at the moment. That was announced at E3. They said that it's only being released for PS4 and Xbox because the improvements are targeted at those two platforms, and that it's coming out in October. It's currently June. So
I will say the graphic fidelity, that the overall change is astonishing. It's really
so?
it's I do too. Oh, absolutely. It's way better than the Batman remastered video. Do you remember that one?
I don't agree at all.
What?
I don't agree at all. Like,
did you watch that video?
Yeah, I did watch the video. So
did you not see all of the polygons on the old version versus like it was just like flat squares, and then you look at the remastered one and you're like, first of all, dynamic lighting.
Okay, I will give you dynamic lighting looked great. The volumetric lighting was beautiful. I'll give you that.
It had higher texture quality.
It did not.
Had better.
I did not see it. I did not see it at all.
You're the worst.
Straight up didn't see it at all. So
wait, you need to start wearing glasses. This is like fucking obvious.
It's super not. If you look at the ground textures, they were the exact same flat bullshit.
First of all, did you see the water texture?
The water shaders were good. The water shaders weren't great, but the water shaders were good. The volumetric lighting was great. The water shaders were good. I'm going to open the video right now just to appease you.
Look at the PlayStation 3. Just the beginning video where it compares the old video to the new one. And where you see, look at the log.
PlayStation 3. I'm looking at the log. Currently looking at the log.
Do you see the fucking difference between those logs? Oh, it's so awesome. It looks so much better.
But the ground is still garbage.
The ground is rock. I mean, I see better fidelity in the
Look at
grass.
The next one, the Xbox 360 one. Look at the difference between. It's just warmer. That when I see the transition on the Xbox 360 one, it just looks like they put a warm light filter over the thing. That's literally what it looks like to me.
No, you don't see the massive amount of. Look at the color in the trees. The color in the trees is different.
I don't see it in the Xbox one. I really don't.
You're so blind. Anyways,
I really don't. Anyways, this is obviously a thing that is going to be talked about a lot because
well, and the big thing is that it's now supporting mods for the consoles, because right now there is tons of mods for PC that you can go out and easily get and grab and add and update and put in there and change. There's also graphic updates that you can add, which are mods for the PC version. So it's not coming out for PC. Well, I mean, I would totally take a look at it if it were coming on PC, but it's not. It's going to just be the Xbox and PlayStation version. And I mean, chat even says it's just the PC version with mods. Which is 100% correct.
Right. That's definitely the highest value thing they added. Everything else is just this face that I'm making that doesn't look happy. That having been said, this is going to be our first point of contention because obviously Indigo and I don't agree about this.
Nope.
So for those of you that don't know, the way that this works is that we have a question, which this week is going to be money grab or genuine improvement, Skyrim Special Edition. So what do we think it is? Money grab or genuine improvement? We're going to debate back and forth. We're going to kind of present our sides of the argument. After that, we are going to post a Twitter poll, and everybody in chat, everybody that follows us on Twitter is going to be able to vote, see who agrees with which point the most. At the end of the show, we're going to come back, take a look at the poll, see who wins, and whoever wins gets a point. Normally, we'd also have a moderator in this little box down here, and his name would be Adrock, but he's currently celebrating his birthday with his family or something like that. Happy birthday, buddy. But he's told us that he'll be back next week, finally, so we'll actually have a full quarter-up show instead of this
hopefully, when he comes back, he'll wear his fedora.
What? Does he have one?
Yeah, did you not see him in that photo wearing a fedora?
Oh, you said fedora. I confused fedora and fez because you have a fez on. So that's how this is going to work. We're going to get right into it. Indigo, how do you feel about Skyrim Special Edition, money grab or genuine improvement?
Genuine improvement.
Yeah? Yeah, you would.
Which leaves you to be?
The money grab guy. This is obviously just them trying to just wring out this IP for as much fucking money as they possibly can. Just squeeze all the money out like it's a fucking sponge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that would be your opening statement. This is a genuine improvement overall. You know, there may be some texture colors that Krug is saying that aren't up to his quality and standards, but he outright admitted that it has much better color dynamic. It has a much better lighting system, and past that, I mean, you can play older games on your system, but if you've got a brand new Xbox or PlayStation system, why the hell not take advantage of those additional gaming additional graphics? And I mean, people are still playing the Skyrim games. People are still going through and exploring, playing with mods. And the fact is that they're adding mods on there, and they're not saying that mods are going to cost extra. They're not saying anything. There's a rating system from what you can tell in the video that doesn't
Oh
show
yeah,
any.
I never said anything about mods costing money on
Yeah.
consoles.
No. I'm not. I'm just adding to why I
Oh, I
don't think
see.
it's a cash grab. If it were a cash grab, they would throw money associated to those mods and make people buy the mods.
Well, Steam tried
Separately.
that and it super didn't work. I don't think
Well,
anyone's
Steam
gonna try
tried
that again
that.
for a while.
Steam's still trying that with other games, but Steam tried that and failed miserably because they just said, "Hey, you can charge for stuff," and had no sort of quality control system in place.
Right.
This is now with Xbox and PlayStation, which I imagine they would try to oversee it themselves if there was going to be, or Skyrim themselves, if this was a legitimate money grab. That's my opening statement to it.
So I will say that we don't necessarily have a price for this.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's possible for you to get this for less money than the actual game, if you already own the game, like buy it for like $2 or like $5 if you already own the game, I'm on board. I have absolutely zero faith that that's going to be the case, though, because it's a console game, and I haven't seen console games do something like that before. Like, that would be a new experience for me. Making people pay the price of a game in order to get the same exact content that they already have with negligible improvements. And let's put aside the mod thing for 1 second. Let's just look at the rest.
Okay.
We have graphics, shaders, particle effects, reflections, stuff like that. Stuff that makes the game look better. I personally don't even think it looks that much better. Like, yeah, there are instances where I'm like looking at and we're specifically talking about the preview video because that's all the, footage we have of the game so far. So I'm looking at it and like, oh yeah, that's really pretty. But there are situations where I'm looking at it and going, this doesn't look good at all. It's the same exact thing as the Batman situation where we were looking at that trailer. Some of them looked good. A lot of them didn't look any better, if not worse. So that's kind of where I am with the graphical improvements. As far as mods are concerned, that's a super great feature. Why are they charging for it? Like, if that's the one highest value thing that they're adding to the game, they're going to charge me a fuck ton to let other people build content for me? Like, that doesn't make much sense.
So I mean, I'm not gonna try to help you, but it is full price no matter if you own the previous version or not.
Thank you. So, and that's where I'm at with this. Like, the fact that they're adding this one feature that requires no input for them gameplay wise. Like, yeah, it's a huge technical thing, but no input gameplay wise, and charging full price for it to let other people create content for me. Like, it seems like the easiest way that they can take this IP and make more money off of it. Because mods are super popular. No one's going to not install the mods. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the cornerstones of gameplay for this game. And so they released it without that cornerstone. And then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, this thing that doesn't require us to do anything except for this technical stuff, we're going to just put it in and we're going to re-release it as a new title.
I mean, they're building an entire like system that doesn't exist right now for the modding community. It's added a rating system. It's added a full-on grab system. So it's like it's algorithm putting it together of what is working the best, what is not, mods that you may like. So I mean, there is a technical side on top of the graphics addition that they put on there.
Yeah, and again, I don't think the graphics thing is that much value added at all. Like, if I were gonna pay just for the graphics part, I'd pay like 99 cents. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care that much. If I were gonna pay for the graphics part and the mods, I'd pay like $2-3. Like, they just built an infrastructure. If I was gonna pay money for mods, I want to pay for.
Oh, sorry. I just got a piece of information. This in just breaking in. If you get this on PC, it will come in free.
But consoles.
If you already own it on Steam, you will get a free upgrade to Skyrim Special Edition when it releases later this year. The same applies for anyone who owns Skyrim Legendary Edition on Steam. Oh, and look at chat just put it in there too. Boom.
But consoles are
Consoles
how much?
consoles will have to pay full price.
Right. And that's where the money grab's coming from.
Okay, so why would it be a money grab for 2/3 of the market,
because
not all of it? That doesn't make any sense.
The PC people already have access to the same graphical fidelity in mod form already. So that's not like a value added thing for them at all. No one's going to buy it. I don't know exactly how the development works for the game, but I imagine that if they update these textures and things, they just have to like repackage it into a PC compatible version, and that it's not really that much work for them to like update the graphics on Xbox 360 and then move it over to PC kind of thing. Like I don't think they're concurrently developing 3 different versions of the game with 3 different groups of people. You know what I mean? So the fact that they have this working already, they have a PC audience that isn't going to get very much value out of it. They're just going to put it out there and say, here you go. You can have this for free if you already own,
So you will be able to buy it for $47.99 if you buy it on Amazon.
Oh God, that's
Best Buy will also offer $20 20% off of Gamers Club Unlocked members, and Green Man Gaming will almost certainly offer a 20% voucher for PC version of it as well.
That makes my skin crawl. The fact that you have to pay $50 on a console to get mods.
First of all, you don't even have a console.
Mods?
You don't. It's not just mods.
It's
not
basically just mods.
No, it's not. You're saying that because you're trying to downplay the actual work that someone had to go through and put in there. Yes, someone may have created a mod that has gotten it better, but someone had to, with the studio, also put it together and put it, do it the way that their system has it put in there.
Yeah, that happened. It still doesn't look very good. Just because somebody put the work in doesn't mean that the work's worth as much as they're charging for it.
You know how you solve that? Don't pay for that much. They're basing it off of what market value is. Market value of a game, because you have to understand that some people also still haven't gotten this game. Some people, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is their first console. So why not put that money out there? Why not do that? And it makes more sense to put it on there because it's an entirely new game at that point. Because there's going to be new disc sales, because the discs that are out there are going to drop prices for the other edition. Now, the special edition, the remastered version, is an entirely new disc, case, cover, everything.
Yes, they could have very easily, from what I understand, not released it that way, like made it a download for free so that they're just sending data to people, which they have the ability to do already. It was their choice to do that. It was a bad choice. The right choice, in my opinion, would be to just release it as DLC, basically free DLC, so that people can just start using mods. And that's it. The fact that they're
mods, though.
It's basically
because
just mods.
It's how the Xbox and the PlayStation works with the system. The Xbox and the PlayStation might have not been able to use the base format of what they were doing and add the additional graphic fidelity because of how the hardware works. You're thinking of it as a PC, and it's not. It is a specific
even if we're getting to the point,
specific way.
Even if we're getting to the point where we're discussing whether or not the graphical fidelity should be considered as part of the value of this new version of the game. If we're getting to that point, with mods, with graphical fidelity improvements,
which you can't do
which I agree 100% with you. Let's just assume that's totally correct and that it's technically impossible. Even with all that, $50, not worth it for a game that people have already played. This is just them trying to leverage the popularity of mods. This is them trying to leverage the popularity of mods to get people to buy the game again. That's what's happening. That's 100% what's happening.
I don't think
I'm done.
You
Are you
can
done?
actually have an argument in this because you don't have any consoles.
Wow, that is actually the most closed-minded thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. First of all, I've owned consoles before, so suck my huge nuts. Second of all, that is
you should probably get those tested.
Huh?
Your huge nuts. If they're large, you should get those tested.
Is like fist okay size per? Like this? Is that good? No, that's not good?
No.
I have to sit with my legs open really far. It's really difficult in cars. I always have to sit in the middle or else it doesn't work.
I hear you can get $35,000 per nut. Maybe
Mine would
at
probably
that
be 60 because they're
yeah,
so big apparently.
exactly.
I think we're done, right? Are we good?
Yeah, we're
Can we pass this off to the audience? They can
Yeah,
vote
go
on
for
what they want. Uh, so that was the end of our discussion. We went back and forth, tried to give you as much information as we could about our sides. I'm going to be releasing a poll shortly on Twitter. I will put a link in Twitch chat so you can find it easily if you're in Twitch chat. If you're listening on the podcast, you can obviously go to our Twitter and vote. The poll should last for 7 days if you wanna have your voice heard. We'll come back at the end of the show and see who won that argument. But for now, Indigo, why don't you take us on to the next piece of news, sir?
Absolutely. I would be more than happy to talk about how everyone has no more money because of Steam sales.
My job forgot to send me my check for the past 2 months. So I've been living off of my last couple of checks. So now that Steam sale's happening and I'm getting both of the checks that they haven't sent me, I'm just getting this giant influx of money, and I'm super worried about the timing of the Steam sale because I just have this fat stack of cash.
I don't see that much in Steam. Like I've scrolled through like quite a few times, and for me, like all of the games that are on there, I'm like, I have it, or like it's not a good enough deal for me to try. Like there's the scuba game that's normally $19.99 is now $11.99.
Yep.
No, I'm good. I mean, the only thing that I saw on there was their Steam sale, like their hardware sales. They have a 30% discount on the Steam controller, and I have been wanting a Steam controller for a little while, at least to test it out and play with it myself.
Yeah, it's perfect timing.
Yeah, $34 instead of the $49 or the $50. That's a good deal. I might hop on.
Well, and here's the other thing about the Steam sale, because I remember like a while ago we were talking about how Steam sales work and how they're going to change it, and this is, I think, one of the first ones that works this way, so people might still be confused. Steam sales used to be a daily thing, and the deals would refresh every day, and you'd have different days for different deals, and it was possible for you to miss a deal that you were really into. This Steam sales works slightly differently in that all the deals last the entire time, and they're all released at the very beginning. So the only difference day to day is what deals are highlighted on the front page. But if you go through Steam, like browse through Steam and look for games, if it's going to be on sale during the Steam sale, it's on sale right now. So that's like makes it way easier for people to get the things they want, you know?
Yeah, there's also something in there that you guys should take a look at. They've actually got some Steam controller bundles. So some of the things that you can get is you can get the Steam controller plus Rocket League for $41.98. You can also, which is a 40% discount. You can get XCOM 2 and the Steam controller for 40% off. Steam controller and Grim Dawn for 35%, and then Civilization 6 with a Steam controller at $89.98, which is an 18% discount. So I mean, this is pretty good. Like if you were planning on getting XCOM and a controller, this is a nice bundle for both of them to get a nice little fatty discount. So I don't know. I was told to try out XCOM 2 a bunch by a bunch of different people, and I do want a Steam controller.
I had XCOM 2 for a while. This is super not related to the show. I had XCOM 2 for a while. It's very buggy. Some people weren't able to complete the last mission. I don't know if they fixed those things, because after I started running into bugs, I stopped playing it. But that's where I am. Do your research before you buy it. Make sure they fixed all those bugs. Yeah. You want to stop?
Do you know what I wish they had on sale that they don't?
What?
The Vive.
Yeah, that would be awesome. 50% off the HTC Vive. Give me right now.
Do you know how many people would be so pissed off? They would just be
pissed off, no. I'd have a slight erection.
No. I would be like, all right, I'm buying it. But I'm saying the people that bought it would be like, what the fuck? I just got it yesterday, and now it's on sale. Fuck you.
50% off. Oh, well, and then the shipping time would go up to like 7 years because they'd have a giant influx of people buying it. This is really interesting. The Smite God Pack, which Smite's available on Steam if you didn't know. The Smite God Pack is 33% off. So if you want to buy all the Smite characters, you can do it for $20 instead of $30.
That's a nice deal.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool deals. Go ahead and browse. It's going to take you forever. There are a bunch of sites dedicated to tracking Steam sales. So if you want to go find your favorite and start perusing through the best deals, go ahead and do that. I think it's well worth your time if you're a gamer like me that spends way too much money on games.
Yeah, and it is a long list. Like, and it's twice as long as it needs to be, because they put the same product in there twice or three times in different places in different like sections.
Yeah, like this is off here, but if you buy it with like this piece of DLC, it's also
No. No, I'm talking about like when you scroll down the page, like you'll see, for example, I'm just gonna use this XCOM 2 in the strategy section at 30% off, and you keep scrolling, and then it's gonna also be at 30% off in the action section. And so it's
it'd be funny if it was 30% off in the strategy section and 40% off in the action section. That's not how it is currently.
No.
Come back to us and say, Krug, there are no games that do that. Because there are no games that do that. Steam's not dumb most of the time. Except for when they accidentally load other people's account pages for people that aren't actually those accounts because they had a caching issue server side. That was dumb and funny. Is that all we have to say about Steam?
Yeah.
I'm never going to drop that. That was the funniest thing ever.
Okay, so speaking of people that should have dropped it way sooner than they should have. So a player went online and was apparently reporting people, and he got silenced. And he says, "Wow, I'm so disappointed. Any time anyone on this on the team has a problem and gets toxic, I report them and type reported. But I guess when I do that, they report me and reported me back. Thanks, Blizzard. Do you even look at the reports, or is this terms of service only for show?"
Wait, but do I get to read the trolley part, please?
Go for it. You go for it.
So Blizzard saw this forum post of this guy complaining that he got banned for reporting other people allegedly. And their response was, "For confirmation, you were not silenced for reporting others. You were silenced for using chat like this." And then it has timestamps and stuff and a bunch of stuff that he says, like, "Lily, what the double expletives are you doing? Expletive noun. Kill tracer noobs, religious figure, obscene word. Awesome, the offensive words. That can't reply to my insults, took my pick. Lol, I will, politer word would have been mess with him the whole game now. If anybody finds themselves in a situation where they believe they are incorrectly silenced, you are welcome to submit an appeal through our support site, and our game masters will review the logs attached to your case. Thank you." Like all cheery after they just like smashed his case into the ground. Like I want to be in the office when shit like this happens. When like some game, like the forum moderators like going through the forums, doing their job, doop-a-doo, and then they find like some asshole like this, and they're like, "You know what? I'm fucking tired of this shit. Control C, username," and then they bring up some like command prompty thing, and they're like, "get log, blah, blah, V," and then they're just sitting there scrolling through all his chat and like, "Oh, you're being an asshole here, paste, and you're being an asshole here, paste, and you're being an asshole here, paste." I don't want to put all this because I think I might crash our forums with a link of this post. So I'm just going to stop now. I'm going to write something cheery and happy because I'm in customer service. I'm going to hit send, and I'm going to lock the thread because fuck you. Like, it has to be the best job ever.
Well,
you get paid to fuck with people on the internet.
And let's go backwards on this. Okay, so he was saying that he reported someone and then wrote in chat that he reported something.
Correct.
And then because of that, he was upset because people were reporting him for reporting other people. Yeah. You're an idiot. If you're reporting someone, why the fuck would you write reporting? Because that's a fucking douchey ass thing to do. If someone's being an ass in chat, just fucking report them.
Just mute them, block them, whatever function you have available to you. And this is game wide. Don't feed the trolls. That's a thing. Like, if you are being trolled or if someone is being mean to you, if you go back at them, that makes them want to do it harder. Trust me, I used to be the guy who was mean to people. Now I'm only mean to people when they're being mean to me first, or when they really, really suck. But just use the features available to you, mute them so you can't hear them bitch, and then report them. That's all you have to do.
That's all. But
seriously,
adding that that little douchery of saying "I just reported you" is not helpful at all. Because what are they gonna do? Go fuck yourself? Like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah. Exactly. If they're doing that, they know that they're doing a reportable thing. Like, nobody says, "You're a fucking cunt bitch," and then doesn't think that you're going to get reported, Like, this is a mature podcast. I can say cunt bitch.
No, I know, but I wasn't expecting it. Well, it's so funny because we jokingly said at the very beginning we put all of the Overwatch news together, and there's two things about Overwatch later on.
Where?
The one we just talked about.
No, that was Heroes of the Storm.
Nope, that was. Are you sure? Because it said
100%
kill
sure.
Tracer.
Tracer's a character in Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, it's in Here's the Storm now.
Get shit on, bitch.
Well, then the next
And
piece of
so is
news we're talking
Lily.
about.
So, that's a
The
thing.
next piece of news we're talking about is Overwatch.
Okay.
PlayStation and Xbox will be getting their own unique nerf for Torbjorn that PC players won't get.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, so Torbjorn will be getting a 30% drop in damage.
This isn't a final number,
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
is the number they've been throwing around.
This is the number that they've been quoted at.
Yeah.
Is saying that they're going to get a 30% drop in damage because it is utterly killing people on the consoles. And it's because they don't have the mobility that mouse and keyboard does.
Yeah.
So it's
they can't turn as quickly, they can't turn as precisely because they have to like literally hold the fucking thumbstick to turn. And like as a Hanzo or a Widowmaker, I can like use A and D and left click to kill a Torbjorn turret from a distance without it locking onto me in seconds. Like if I'm a sniper behind enemy or behind my own lines and my front line is doing a good job keeping me safe, it doesn't matter. Like the turret is almost irrelevant.
Yep. And this update will happen mid-July. Apparently, this is a very serious problem on the consoles. I haven't had this experience, but it is apparently very, very serious.
Game-breaking.
Yeah. We will not be seeing any changes for Torbjorn on PC, which I say, please, please, just slow his movement down, like the turret movement down, just a little bit, or like the rate in which it fires. Like the fact is that I use, like, if there's a Torbjorn on my team, I will look at the turret and it will turn and have that blue line pointing at the enemy, and I know exactly where the enemy is now, and I have better accuracy because of that than I do with just like Widowmaker's abilities to see where people are. None of that. Torbjorn's turret fucking has better, and it's just so aggravating.
I personally don't agree. I think Torbjorn's fine.
No,
I think Torbjorn's fine.
Just a small amount. At least give someone like a second. Like the second you come out of hiding, he fires on you instantly.
I think the reason it's that way is to encourage people to use supports. Like if you have a diva that's just like a whole entire health bar of armor and she can block projectiles, or Torbjorn a Reinhardt who has a giant shield and can just walk in front of the turret and stand there for a good like minute and a half without the shield breaking, and then has a 500 HP health bar after that to contend with, most of which again is armor, which takes 5% reduced damage. Like those things are literally direct counters. Like just something to soak up the damage for a second while literally anyone else in the entire game blows the turret up.
I don't know. When we played last night and we had 6 Torbjorns,
that was completely different
versus 6 divas.
That was completely different.
Which is a direct counter.
No. We did not have 6 Torbjorns versus 6 divas. We had 6 Symmetras versus 6
Symmetras. That's right. That's right.
We had 4 Torbjorns and 2 other people versus a normal team comp, and they got pooped on. But they didn't know how to play the game. They weren't switching to ranged characters. Like I was getting McCree's coming out. Like I'm gonna kill I'm dead. Like they didn't know how to play. So that having been said, I think Torbjorn's very easily countered. I think Bastion needs a little bit of a nerf, but that's just me. I don't think that's just me actually, but still.
I'm with you on that one as well, but I think that his tweak needs to be less severe. I think his tweak needs to be have less accuracy. Like just as he fires,
Bastion,
the longer he
like a longer spray or a wider spray.
Yeah, like the longer he fires, the larger it gets, and it takes some time for it to get down to the size it is. I think that would severely help him be a lot more even for everyone. Because the fact is that he's just sitting there and then going, "Oh, I'm just gonna hold my left click and kill you and you and you and you and you. Oh, whole team's dead. Cool. Guess who got play of the game? I did." But like, if it grew, like you would have to time it so, okay, I got to go after the furthest people first and then have to go to the closest, because at that point my accuracy is going to be so large that there's no way I'm going to be able to hit the enemies that are far away, and I'm going to have to either stop and let my gun cool down so it shrinks down or what. But I don't know.
I just kind of want his setup and teardown time for him shifting between turret and mobile mode to be longer. Like 2 seconds. So that he couldn't just like, oh, I see a rocket coming towards me. I'm going to get up and move before it gets to me. Like, no, I should be able to shoot you from across the map with a slow moving projectile. It'll
Yeah, I
hit
mean,
you at
I
least
think there's a
one
lot of
time.
different ways that it can be changed or updated. I mean, maybe his heel's a little bit slower. You know,
I think
there's a
his
dot.
heal's garbage. His heal's just good for between fights. And
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point, your support's going to heal you anyways. And if you don't have a
Well,
support, then you're going to lose the game for a completely different reason.
well,
And that's
I'm
because
going
you
to
don't
talk
have a
about a
support.
completely different game that got lost in the shuffle.
Uh-oh.
So
What
our
happened?
the last piece of news, it's not really a piece of news, but I saw this video on YouTube and I thought it was really awesome and I wanted to share it with you guys. And it's why the open world Daredevil game failed. So back in PlayStation 2 days, right before the Daredevil movie franchise came out and like right when the Spider-Man movie was coming out, they decided to this studio called 5000 Feet decided that they were going to create a Daredevil game. They got the rights from Marvel. They started creating it, and then as they came out, they said, "Hey, by the way, we're creating a movie." And so then they had to work and expand the game from being just a Xbox game over to a PlayStation and an Xbox game. And Sony was, you know, grabbing real tight on that game, and so they kept saying, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do this," and so and they were fighting between Marvel wanting it to be true to the comics and fighting against Sony who wanted them to capitalize on Tony Hawk, which just came out, which they wanted him to be able to grind on telephone poles
No.
and yeah, I'm
No.
not even joking.
No.
Because they thought it because the strongest point of Tony Hawk was the fact that you were able to grind on
That's
stuff.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Daredevil doesn't grind on stuff.
No, he doesn't. And Marvel was like, "Hey, look, that's not who Daredevil is. Like that has nothing to do with who Daredevil is." So like they didn't want that. And so they were fighting back and forth and they were trying to fight in between both Marvel and Sony who are trying to basically say, "Hey, you can't have our property unless you change this." And Sony's saying, "Well, you can't produce your game on my console unless you produce this."
Wow, what a bunch of fucking children.
Yeah, so they were fighting back and forth, and then they were in this studio was in Nevada, and at this time, Nevada was fighting a huge drug problem in the area, and they had kind of a relaxed rules there, and so people would actually come into the studio and be drunk or stoned or just
This
completely
is
trashed.
PlayStation 2 era?
Yeah, PlayStation 2 era,
Wow.
and they would come in there, and the issue was is that because they were getting pressured to not just use the standard engine that they used the basis of the engine and then built on top of that to their own engine. And so these were the guys that made this engine and were building that, those were the guys that were doing all these drugs and stuff like that. So they were saying that if they got rid of them they would be further behind because they like these are the only people that knew how to make this work. And so they went through that. It cost them approximately $5 to $6 million to make this game. And it changed from a small, like it was supposed to just be an action adventure game, but because of the movie coming out, because of all of this, they were pushed to make this into an open world game. They had the story was completely written. They had good portion of the games all built and put together and like ready to go. And Marvel pulled the rights from them because they were leaning towards Sony versus leaning towards Marvel, and so Marvel said, "Fuck it, this is our franchise. This isn't the Daredevil that we love and know." So they pulled the rights from them and just left them high and dry. And so they said they could have turned around and made it its own IP and replaced the character and the
Yeah.
artwork to be its own, but it never came to fruition, and it just kind of died.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to backpedal a little bit and say when I say, wow, these guys are fucking children, I really mean Sony's being fucking children. Like, for reals, you want them to, like, that is the most ill-informed decision I've ever heard in my entire life. If they had released the game and, like, the selling point of the game was you could grind on shit, like, that game would have not rested on its IP. It would have had to rest on the fact that it was a skater game. And why would a skater, person that wants to play a skating game, want to do it in a Daredevil's universe? Like, you're alienating both of your audiences by adding that feature. The people that are going to buy it because it's Marvel's Daredevil aren't going to buy it because you made it into a skating game. And the people that want to play a skating game aren't going to buy it because you made it into a giant nerd Daredevil fest. Why are you killing both of these? What? is my
Well,
response.
you have to watch the video because they go way more into depth on this. They talk to a bunch of the actual developers that were working on the project.
Oh, for real?
They talk about they show a lot of the artwork. They show some of the finished parts of the game, and it looks like it could have been a really awesome game. Before that, the Spider-Man game came out, and they were giving them a hard time because Spider-Man would use his web to fly around from location to location, but he wasn't grabbing onto buildings. He was literally shooting straight up.
Sure.
And so you could actually be above all of the buildings in the game and still be using your webs to fly around. Yeah.
Old game engines.
Yeah, and this game engine actually made it so that only certain things could be grabbed upon.
Onto, yeah.
And since he had his dual sticks, he would throw his dual sticks, it would wrap around, and he would swing from place to place. And so it touted on that. He had his, you could see the game in a third person vision, but then you could also go into Daredevil vision where you would see people's heartbeats and be able to see people through walls because you could hear them walking around. It's also how you found enemies' weaknesses is through this vision. It was a really great idea and a really cool system, but they just
fucked it up hardcore.
Yeah, it was just an all around fuckery.
Well, I think that's all we have for news this week.
Yep.
Have anything else? I don't have anything else.
Nope, I got nothing.
Sweet. Well, thanks for checking out Quarter Up, everybody. We really love the fact that you came and listened to our voices. We're going to say our goodbyes, and then we're going to play some Overwatch for about an hour, and then we're going to hop into /Yell, which is like this show, except for without us debating stuff, and it's about MMOs instead of not MMO games, because we like MMOs. We're MMO people. But before we do all that, I'm going to click this little linky poo here and see who won the vote. Oh, Super Me won the vote. Give me that coin, baby.
By super you mean you won 2/3 of the vote, all right?
That sounds like a lot, baby. Oh,
2/3.
Sorry, I just came a little bit. Anyways, Indigo, where can people find you on the internet if they want to get in touch?
If you guys want to reach me, the best way is on Twitter, which you can hit me up on IndigoQT. You can also reach me on Twitter via QueueTimes. I usually am the one tweeting out about on there. If you want to email me because you've got a great idea or something that you want to put together, or you want to be on the show, or whatever the deal is, and you don't think Twitter is the best way to get a hold of me, you can email me at indigo@QueueTimes.com. That is QueueTimes.com. Krug, what about you?
My Twitter is @KrugQT. My email address is krug@QueueTimes.com. And if you want to reach me and Indigo and AdRock at the same time via email, you can email QU@QueueTimes.com. And that's about it. Thank you for checking out the show. We love it when you check out the show and leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe on the YouTube channel, or whatever the fuck else you're allowed to do on whatever medium you're using to listen to this show. Thank you. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
See you guys on the forums.
Mwah.